eliminations. The top eliminations on the board so far, 286 points. We're still talking about fine margins here. 32 points separates first and second position, and in third position, 4 points away. It's so tight here. And let's take a look at the 11th and 20th as well. I mean, Vivid, it's even in this in its capacity, you've got teams that are really close to getting into that top 10.
Yeah, that top 10 is something really worth fighting for, because as Zeke always goes over it, those prize means they increase every single placement that you get, especially when you get into the threshold of like top 10, top 5. So you got to fight all the way into the end there. But something that I just don't enjoy seeing is that our previous FNCS champions, Slacks, Acorn, and Jack, fall down to the 13th position there, and they're even like miles behind, even like 10th. So they really got to have some good last games here, have a fighting contention for those good, ending prize pools.
Man, it is a tough competition in NA East. It is a who's who of who could pull off the unthinkable. But Vivid, your trio right now looking real strong. But we have 2 games left. Anything can happen. And Fortnite has taught us anything will happen. Fortnite fan, we're jumping on the battle bus once again. Monster D-Face, Aussie Antics. Back over to you, my friends.
There it is. We finally see that strong performance from Bucky, Macwood, and Kanata come out of nowhere, seemingly, again, just throwing them right back into the competition or conversation for the top 3 slot. Maybe even better here, depending on how our top teams perform. But for our top teams, most importantly right now, is that Commandment, Sense, and Edgy here, Ozzy, have now given themselves a 30-point lead. Is that going to be enough? Is that enough to give them the comfort that they need to walk away as our next champions, or will they need to do more? Because quite honestly, if Daymiro and Reverse 2K continue to pick up the elims again the way they just did, it's going to be hard to hold that lead.
It's going to be very hard. In third place, Degen, Ages, and Skittles, that was their worst game of the weekend, a 26th place. Previously, before that, their worst game was a 13th place. So that was a disastrous performance from them. But they're a team that has a 9 elimination win in the back pocket. They've pulled off big point games. That is more than enough to jump them up if Censored, Commandment, Edgy fall down here. And again, we've seen that a few times. Censored, Edgy, and Commandment's consistency has been ridiculous. But third game of yesterday, they went down with a 3-elim 18th. One more game like that and things can change. I know everyone at home, I know it's our job, we build the suspense, we make it exciting, but this genuinely is not their tournament yet. Anything can happen here, as Macwood, Bucky, and South Zone 15 eliminations, putting them at 114 points today. That means that they have a game like that.
All of a sudden, the weaknesses of the drop spot, when they're spread out like that, players can get picked apart, and it seems like Aegis is going to get caught off. Has to clutch up here. He doesn't even have HP. He is the last member alive on his trio, and he is nothing by that team of
last. And they're in third place. Anything can happen now. Can Commandment, Sense, and Edge make the difference? If you're too scared, if those nerves get to you now, you're just delaying the loss for later. At a few rough games, they rotated into retail and they got a full trio wipe early. They clearly have the confidence to push ahead, and I want to see whether Censored, Commandment, and Edgy can do the same.
Yeah, for sure. It's now Dubs, Mega, and Rokane, another team that is still very much in this battle here for, again, vying those top slots. They are in 4th place right now, just 20 points off the pacing. Now that Degen, Ages, and Skittles is not in this game here, now they've been taken out, that third place spot is wide open for the taking for a team like Dubs, Mega, and Rokane to go ahead and at least catch up there and then play it out for the last and final stretch to that 1st place slot, which is still quite a ways away, but not too far. Now that top teams are starting to fall. So far today, from what we've seen out of Daymiro and Reverse 2K, it is still anyone's game. They can still end up having things not quite connect for them, but even then, they're such a clutch factor style team. Again, that last game just shows them a little bit. They gave us another taste of what they had coming out of day 1.
And this prize pool right now, we got to talk about it. First, second, and third is where it really ramps up. After that, it's a little bit closer down the board. Trust me, I wouldn't say no to a few extra $1,000. That's still a lot of money. But first place, $50,000 each. Second place, $35,000 each. That is a $15,000 drop and difference. So right now, there is big stuff on the line. But again, Censored, Commandment, Edgy, they've come second twice. I genuinely would go out on a limb to say that right now, the money means almost nothing to them compared to the accolades of winning. We talked about Sentinel and Edgy as well. They came from NA West and showed they could do it all. They are, at this point, I'd say, Monster, even if they do terribly now, have solidified themselves as the best team in NA East. Second place FNCS, second place FNCS, and now potentially going to win it, or at the very least a top 3. They are doing phenomenally, but I know they won't think about it that way. If they get second or third, they are going to be devastated, as Damir and Reverse have won it before. They know what it feels like, and I think they want that feeling again.
Yeah, not to mention they are literally in second place so far right now, coming into this game 11. 11 out of 12 games so far, guys. This is so deep inside the tournament. This is the final stretch right now, and they have all overcome such huge hurdles here. But again, here's a fight that we've watched unfold a few times now for Straw Hat Charlie, who was in 15th place just a couple rounds ago, and now all of a sudden they are starting to slip back down. It just seems like they couldn't get their footing. I thought they were going to be able to really jump their way back up, but the last couple games have just been tough. Losing these early game fights, they just truly set you back, especially if you're not getting to that early I guess guaranteed positioning, those points that you get coming up 24th place and above. So really the battle is at least get there, right? Get that place in points. They just go such a long way, and then after that, try your best to make those end games and just rack up as many points so you can continue to stay close to that top 10.
NA East are sticking to their guns, and I don't want to go out of line to call this one out here, because Scented, Edgy, and Commandment I think are one of the last players to maybe do this, but I wouldn't put against Damir and Reverse. If one of them could have a big performance now, jump in front of the other team, with third place now down and force so many points behind, we've seen it before. Last FNCS for EU, we saw it from Mongrel's team. They did manage, 2 FNCSs ago, Mongrel's team going into the last game knew that all they had to do was hold on to their first by beating second. We might see that strategy taken into account here. Like I said, Sented's team doesn't strike me as a team that would want to do that because it's very risky. It does require a lot of confidence, but you got Dave, Miro, and Reverse. 3 of the most confident fighters at NA East. If they have a big game now, which looks like they're trying to, and Commandment, Scented, Edgy don't, they can switch up their drop and contest them, and that could be their FNCS right there. This game is going to be supremely important, but Damir and Reverse are trying to push in on I would say one of the scarier fighting teams they've taken on in these situations, Monster. And they're set up with loot, they're set up with positioning. This is going to be FNCS right here. If Damir and Reverse win this, or if they lose it, I think this is going to be the fight of the day.
Yeah, definitely. And Snake, except on the other side of the wall here, an exceptional team. Like, these guys are known for playing in opens, popping off, taking high placing spots, and honestly flying under people's radar. This is an absolutely underrated, scary trio, and if Reverse 2K, Day and Miro don't tread carefully, their game is going to end. I'm sorry to say it, that team is like dangerously good, and we may not see them at the top of the standings right now, but that does not mean that they're not an exceptional team. Remember, down here there's been a lot of fights between the teams landing here, and they're going for it right now. So it's going to come down to who can actually open this up faster. I like that they're keeping the distance right now, because if they get too close they can get punished, and Day likes to get really close. Just take a look at him, he is starting to sneak up on top of those walls. Voyo and Except are playing really close, and if they spot him out, it might just be over. There's the first tag from Except. I told you, gotta be careful here. They will capitalize.
Yeah, and this is the way Day plays well. A lot of people like to call that one out. It's so easy to be on the the Day fan train when he's popping off, dropping massive frags, and then people switch up really quick when he goes a bit too aggressive. But that's how it works. It's how a lot of these guys work.
Know.
Again, I always like it. It's like Illust, it's like Scoped, it's like Reek. These controller aggressive players, they really do have that style of getting in close. They win it more often than not, and that's where the confidence comes from. And now he's also going to be getting an epic AR upgrade as well now. But I think they've noticed more, so I think they know, okay, we don't know who this is, but they are not a team we want to take this fight with right now.
Yeah.
But did they get enough tags? Did they get any damage out of that? Because there's another team now, I believe, was that coming from Retail Row? Was that up on the weather station? I think, no, it was the weather station. This is a much better fight, and this is absolutely no disrespect to Nick FN, Nobu Beef, and Lupian, but I know just from this panning shot, Nick FN's loadout will be a lot worse than the Except trio right now. And if they can take this fight, this is the fight they need right now. The French Canadians, I don't even know if they know what is coming for them right now, because They haven't had to fight this team yet, and they know how scary they are, but there's no way they can imagine the Dirty Dogs has rotated to the weather station.
Oh, there
Mira
it
set
is.
up for it. They have no idea. It's coming. Can Mira get the beam? Mira gets the beam. This is what they need. That is the green light. They are going in, and this is their fight for the FNCS right here. This is as important as an end game. They win or lose their FNCS on this fight potentially. If they go down, I have to call it as almost definitely over for this trio.
Yeah, for sure. And look, this is how it all can work out. Just grabbing those walls, setting yourself for the next Elim up. Miro's going to go in and find the one that he needs here and walks into the box. This is actually a scary thing to do here, but he does not care. He's got his team to back him up. Day here, they're going to go for the shakedown. They're going to grab all the information, and now the hunt begins here to find this final Elim. And this is the last 2 games they're finding so much more success since they've started rotating down south. But you see the difference, right? You see how intuitive this team can be. They know how to read teams based off of situations and engagements, and already they have all the confidence that they need. And when this team is confident, they win their battles, and that's all this should be right here as they're looking to get these final Elims here and once again jump their way up the standings here. Remember, they are playing catch up. They have to catch up 30 points onto Scented and company, who are way up at the top so far with a near perfect day of Fortnite.
Talk about white tags. White tags is blood in the water, and these guys are sharks. They are looking for everyone. We use that term a lot, you know, box like a fish, floppers. I mean, honestly, at this point, when Day, Mirror, and Reverse are looking like this, when they're playing like this, the enemies may as well be floppers because they are just going to farm them. They are going to find them, and they're going to get their points on the board. That is now 6 points that brings them even closer to Commandment, Scented, and Edgy. And this is what we want to see when they're playing at supreme confidence. Yesterday, we saw these games. They kicked off with a 6 Elim 5th, a 12